This is the No Love Songs Music Business Podcast number 2. Today, I'm speaking with Golden Hour Booking. So I'm going to pass it over to you both. If you could just introduce yourselves, your names, and what it is that Golden Hour Booking does.
My name is Marissa. I'm one half of Golden Hour Booking, and I book shows, obviously, and I also do photography as well.
My name's John. I book shows, run shows, and I play in a band called Inner Love.
Talking to musicians is great, but the booking agency piece is a really important piece too. So, I mean, what I'm trying to do is kind of like provide information. I feel like when I started playing in bands, like nobody told me how to get gigs. Nobody told me, how to get my music out there. Just kind of all this stuff that we have to do, how to deal with venues and all the different things. So it's kind of trying to sort of build up a knowledge base. If that.
Oh yeah, sense. Dude. When you start, no one gives you like a rule book or anything like that. Like, I think the closest thing I've ever had to something like that is being in like, what you call it, like elementary school chorus and having like the concert etiquette, like, oh, don't talk or whatever. Like,
stand up straight.
That's not going to get you a gig. I see a lot of like younger bands like just trying to do whatever they can and not seeing how like certain things stick and how certain things work, and I always want to kind of like hey like, this is, go and talk to a promoter, go and talk to people,
go to shows.
Briefly, what does a booking agency do for a band?
Many things. No, like in terms of what a booking agency does, or even just promoter does, is simply promote the bands. In our case, and in my case, I just like to put shows on. I like to put shows that I want to go to on. And help out touring bands, get them from place to place. It's a lot more connected than you think it is starting out. But in general, being able to support your scene and especially being able to give your local scene shows to play.
So how does that process begin? You're putting, looking at your Instagram, you got a gig coming up at the VFW. How does that begin? Do you start with a band? Do you start with the venue, and then you add bands? How far in advance does this process begin? Can you just kind of walk me through the process?
We usually get emailed or messaged by a touring band that's coming through.
Usually it's Massapequa VFW Hall or Amityville Music Hall for us. See if the date's open, and at that point, if it's open, we got the hole. We look for local bands and just put it together from there.
A lot of research when it comes to finding local bands. There's so much out there, and we want to make sure everyone gets a chance to play a show, especially ones that don't get that opportunity. We just love helping them out.
That's cool. So what's like the criteria that you look for in local bands?
A few different things. Number one, if they're good. I like to put shows together that like I physically, people want to go out to. Obviously a band's gotta be good to get shows, but I think another big piece is a few other big pieces are promoting well when it comes to especially younger bands trying to get bigger. I hear a lot of younger bands being like, oh, like the show is great, like everyone on the show is killer, but no one, there's like 10 people here, whatever, and it's like you guys literally just played last week. Sometimes it's even like the same venue. You played there last week. Like it's the show business. Yeah, you gotta make it a show. You gotta make it that like, oh, like you don't get to see it all the time. You want to be able to draw in people. When you have like 6 shows that you're playing, it's hard to promote all 6 of them. Otherwise, if people are nice, They
come out to shows, they support.
Yeah, we like to support people who support others.
What can I ask you guys about the money splits? Like, how does it work for bands? I assume it doesn't sort of depend on how much people bring out. I assume it's not just sort of even across the board. Also, you guys got to get paid for your work. So, like, what's the deal for bands?
Say a show does well. It's 100 people. There's $1,000, whatever. We physically have to pay the venue itself first and foremost. That doesn't even count as like me, Marissa, like the two big ones that always it's always a constant.
Comes before everything.
Comes before everything is the venue and whoever's working doors, especially if it's not one of us. Like if it's someone that we physically hire, yeah, we have to do that. After that, it goes to the touring bands first. Depends on what like a guarantee is. It depends on the deal that you have beforehand coming in. Say like touring band could get like 60% of that cut, like 60% their cut, and they'll get that before anybody else gets money or whatever. Yeah, we do guarantees. We always, even on shows that we physically lose money, like we always try to pay the touring bands as much as we physically can. You know, when it comes to a touring band, that's gas money somewhere. You know, that takes up gas, tolls, everything. So you know, they're the real troopers out there. So you gotta make sure you take care of them first. And then afterwards, if there's like, you know, like $300 left afterwards, there's money afterwards, split it between everybody else. I like to make sure that everyone gets a little piece of the pie, you know. The two biggies before everyone else gets to eat is the touring bands and the venue itself.
And the venues. So the venue, the major costs are sound guy and door person. Do venues sometimes charge a flat rate on top of that or a percentage?
It's usually a flat rate for the night. So like, if there's a place that's like, it's like the flat rate's like $500. When you're paying that flat rate, you're paying a door person, you're paying the sound guy, you're paying the bartenders, and for the most part, like the electricity and time to actually rent the space. When you're doing stuff DIY, that's where it becomes like a whole separate thing. Like, the space itself could be a certain amount of money, and then, hire a sound guy, hire this person, whoever.
When these touring bands come to you, they reach out to you about a gig. So you said they have a certain cut that they're asking for. So is that their managers reaching out to you and sending you a contract like, hey, we want to do this gig, here's our deal? Are you dealing with the manager? Does it kind of depend on the band?
Depends on the band. Sometimes the band themselves will reach out, and sometimes the manager will reach out to us.
When it's, say, like really DIY style, if a band is hitting you up, most of the time it's more of like a spoken word type of thing. But usually when it comes to like agencies, when you're dealing with a touring booking agent, usually you have to sometimes, depending on how big the act is, sometimes you have to put a deposit down on it.
In terms of promotion, you said a booking agency will promote for bands. So it sounds like part of the promotion is just kind of putting together a good bill of bands that are going to bring people out. Marissa, you mentioned taking photographs as well. Is that part of the deal? Like, I know you created Eventbrite sites. Like, what does promotion look like for you?
So promotion for me, sometimes a band that's on the bill will hit me up because I do my own, as well as Golden Hour, doing photography for Golden Hour. I do my own side, and sometimes a band will hit me up to take photos of their set, and I use them for promos on our Instagram, and then for them to use as well. And we also do some flyers ourselves too, and just putting it out there and getting people's eyes to see, oh, hey, there's a show coming up. This flyer looks cool. Oh my God, this band's on it. That's sick. All right, I'm there.
Final thought. What is your one piece of advice for the New York performing bands out there? What is one thing that they could do to become better at the music business?
Talk to people. Network. That's honestly the biggest thing that anyone could do. Whether you're a smaller band, whether you're a big band, or, you know, Joe Schmo, whoever. Physically talk to people, come out to shows, support other bands that are playing, because 90% of the time, the people that are coming out to your shows that are genuinely like fans of your music are other bands. Great meeting you too, Rye.
All right, great. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Bye.
Have a good night, man.